everybody thinks because of like CSI and all of these shows that I'm going to come in there and I'm automatically going to fingerprint everything. Once I fingerprint it, I take the prints, I lift them. I'm going to come back here and scan them on my desk into something, and it doesn't work that way by any stretch of the imagination. There's just no magic computer that you just lay it down and it reads it and and it comes back and it matches to somebody like that. It just doesn't happen. It's so vast that you really have to, every crime scene is completely different. Like a burglary, that type of thing. Obviously one of the first things that we want to do is make sure that it's cordoned off and we don't have too many people walking through and and tracking it up. Once that's taken care of, we start from the outside and then work our way in. So we want to shoot all of the exterior of the building. Definitely what we believe is the main entry point or the focal point of going into the scene itself. Is there any kind of evidence that we actually see still laying out? Entry point, get nice close-up shots of those. If there's anything of that nature that we need, like tool marks, pry marks. Once we get all of those shots, then we would go into a situation where if there's tool marks and using things like microsil that we showed you, where we can, it's kind of a putty where we can take those tool impressions in case we find something later on that matches to it. The main things that I always try to tell newer officers or younger officers when we start talking about this is you just need to remember a few things. You need to get as, if I'm not there, you need to secure it as best as possible, okay? Very little foot traffic in and out if you possibly can, and, take as many pictures or whatever as you possibly can along the way too, because I always tell everybody that when you go into a crime scene, you always take something in with you and you always bring something out. So the more you track in and out of a crime scene or go in and out of a crime scene, the more you're going to muddy up, or mess up the actual crime scene. So I think we've told you guys the story where I've had, situations where we've walked out before and then guys had shell casings in their boots, stuck in the bottom of their boots. So, that's a good example of walking in there and then bringing something out with you. I think the main thing is I know that you guys want to get your as much information as you possibly can too, and I think that you would find myself or Dave or somebody would be somebody's always going to be there. It's going to be willing to talk to you. Okay, it's just a matter of it's a matter of time. Okay. If I'm there or somebody else is there doing their investigation, let them kind of do what they need to do, and just maybe you say, hey, look, I'm here, and when you get a chance, please, can you talk to me or whatever? And I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do that, but you got to understand they still have to do their job first, and they will, they'll get into their job, they'll do whatever they need to do, and as soon as they get the opportunity, then, they'll come to talk to you, or if they don't, somebody else will, and try to answer, as many questions. A lot of departments have PIO officers, and that's what their job is. So they're going to come out and they're going to talk to you. Smaller departments, they may not have a PIO, and that's fine, but you'll always be able to find somebody who will talk to you. It's just a matter of let them figure out where they're at, what they've got, what they can release and what they can't release to you, and and go from there. So I would always tell you, just be patient. I realize that maybe sometimes you have a deadline and sometimes you want to get it out there before somebody else does, but sometimes it's just, it's a little bit about patience.